I came in chains with lowered head. A captive king the proud men led. They thought me broken, stripped and tamed, a shadow shorn of fear and flame. But iron yields to subtler art, and pride unlocks the guarded heart. I chose this shore, this mortal throne, for men betray themselves alone. O Pharaoh's own, in triumph crowned, you stand above a conquered ground. Yet conquest ends where steel is spent. I rule where thought and fear are bent. Build me a temple, stone and flame, give fear and hope a single name. Call me giver, call me truth, call me giver, call me truth. I am the strength you lacked in youth. If death is doom, you cannot flee, then kneel no more. Learn it from me, why trust the west or distant sky? Why trust the west or distant sky? When power stands before your eyes, you fear the gift you cannot keep. That final ever silent sleep. They name it mercy, name it kind, a gentle close for mortal mind. But I have watched your years run thin, your strength decay from bone and skin. What justice lies in borrowed breath, when wisdom grows yet ends in death. They bar the world beyond the sea, they set the bounds you may not see. They speak of fate and patient years, I speak of mastery over fear. Build me a temple, raise it high, let smoke eclipse the starry sky. Call me king and call me guy, call me king and call me guy. I walk with you, no need to hide. If life is short and years are few, then take the span that should be yours. Why bow to laws you did not make? Why bow to laws you did not make? When crowns are seized by those who take. I taught them craft and hidden lore, of binding will, of shaping more, of word and sign, of thought made chain, of ordered worlds and ruled domain. White ships lay idle in the bay, as old beliefs were cast away. The faithful fled, the proud remained. Ah, how they listened, how they changed. Laugh now, O lords of mortal clay. Your banners blot the light of day. Set sail to claim the deathless shore. Demand the world, then demand more. For where the fire greets your return, or seas unmake all that you earn, your fall will shake both sky and foam, and I will still endure alone. Build me a temple, blood and breath, an answer to the fear of death. Call me savior, call me friend, call me savior, call me friend. I stand where all your years must end. If fate is fixed and years are bound, then break the law that holds you down. The world belongs to those who see. That power bows to will to me. That power bows to will to me. That power bows to will to me. The land will break, the sea will rise. Your golden towers meet their lies. My fair-clad form the deep will claim, yet still the world will speak my name. For flesh may sink and kingdoms drown, but thought endures where fear is sown. Men fall so fast, so hard, so true. They build the dark, I guide them too. Sing, O men of endless years, of stolen hope and conquered fears. I gave you truth you could not bear. No gift is given, all is taken. And when your bones are salt and foam, and Numenor is never home, remember this: when all stood beneath the eagle's shadow when Numenor was crowned in pride. When our Pharazôn the Golden took the world for his bride, we were heirs of Elro's glory, lords of sea and mortal breath. Why should death be ours alone when the valor keep theirs yet? Because the gift was never chains, nor immortality stolen by might. The star was set to guide us west, not blind us with endless night. I remember Menel Tarma's silence when no blade nor blood was spilled, where we spoke in wind and prayer, and the one all hearts fulfilled. Captive's guise, bound in gold, yet smiling still. Sauron called himself our servant, bent the court to iron will. He spoke of strength and mastery, of breaking death's cruel door. And the king, he listened closely, craved the life denied before. The lies beneath his words, the poison sweetly spun. He named the darkness freedom, named the shadow the one. The white tree wept in Armanelos, its petals fell like ash, and Nimloth burned in silence as the faithful fled his grasp. They built a temple crowned in fire at the heart of the golden city. There was order, there was purpose, there was power, cold and pretty. There were screams upon the altar, men and women bled for lies, human hearts to Morgoth offered as the smoke devoured the skies. I told myself it kept us strong, that fear was just the cost. You watch the faithful hunted down, their houses burned and lost. What is honor? What is duty when the world is yours to claim? Why kneel to distant powers who never knew your name? I walk between the fire and prayer, I walked between the sword and tear, and stained with both obedience and the blood of those held dear. I see the ships turned west to war, to challenge death itself. I see a kingdom on its knees, afraid of final breath. I can give you what they cannot, a circle unbroken, power unending. Take it and choose your fate. Down or cast it down. took the ring from his hand, cold as truth, alive with fire. The world grew thin around my breath, as if it bent to my desire. The sea fell silent at my feet. The wind spoke words I almost knew. The gift of men felt less a curse, and death a door I could undo. The faithful's voices slipped away like echoes lost within the foe. What honor was, I cannot say. The crown felt heavier than home. Arthur is on, the Golden King, sails west with fleets that fire the sky. To seize the flame, the Valar bring, defiant against their watchful eye. I turn my steps to shadowed strands, and called the faithful few to me. Kingsmen bound by blood and ancient bands, unyielding to the sacred sea. If Valinor denies our right, then Middle-earth shall feel our might. We sail not west, but into shadow, where broken crowns still rule the night. Let laws decay and stars grow dim. We will not fade without a fight. For when the world itself must end, and light is torn away, Numenor lives in blood and will not praise the Valar say. But the sea remembers ancient vows, and it rose in wrath and sand. A blackened storm took mast and keel, drove us screaming toward the land. Behind us westward thunder broke, the world itself was torn in two, and Numenor was drowned in night, lost beneath the bending blue. The wave that slew the deathless isle chased us still with foaming roar. I felt the flood within my chest as I crawled onto the shore. The black land rose in smoke and fire, a wound the world refused to heal. Each step the earth grew heavier, each breath was blood and ash and steel. And there he stood in iron crowned, no captive now, no humbled guest, the Lord of gifts, the shadowed king, with burning eyes upon my chest. The ground itself compelled my mien, my strength undone, my pride laid bare. I bowed, and in that broken breath I chose despair over prayer. Behind me swords fell one by one, my captains knelt, my followers bowed. One will bound us deep and sure, the drowned trank oaths we spoke aloud. A shadow stretched across my sight, its weight crushed breath from flesh and bone. I bowed beneath its burning gaze, and knew my will was not my own. I cannot speak my father's name, nor feel the weight of mortal breath. The scar is gone, the world is thin, I walk the borderland of death. This Numenor is lost to time, and I am more than flesh and pain. All around I feel the all-consuming shadow, grasping, gnawing at my very soul, until the crowned his living form. In iron halls and shadowed pits, we swore our oaths where wills were torn. We served him then in flesh and flame, as kings of fear, as hands of might, till war came howling from the west and broke the world in steel and light. We watched the banners of the free advance beneath the foreign sun. We bled for him on ashen field. Yet still the final blow was done. His body fell, his voice was still. The dark tower cracked and burned, and many fled, and many cursed. But we endured, we learned. For though his form was cast aside, his will did not depart the land. In smoke and thought and sleepless watch, we felt his purpose still command. From ruin rose a sleepless sight, unbound by flesh, by death, by chain. An eye that watched, an eye that waited, patient through defeat and pain. We are the devout of the leadless side. We are the devout of the leadless side. Unseen, unblinking, lifted high, we serve the will that cannot die. No longer kings of mortal thrones, no longer bound to crown or name. We became his hands in secret war, his voice in whisper, knife and flame. We learned the craft of shadowed arts, of binding fear and breaking mind. And those who would not bend or kneel we slaughtered, or we chained. We are the devout of the lidless side. We are the devout of the lidless side. Let the faithless kneel or die. There is no truth but what we spy. He does not sleep. He does not fade. Through us his vision is obeyed. Where hope still breathes, we draw the blade. The world will learn what waits in shade. The West may sing of ended wars, of broken dark and vanished fear, but still the eye surveys the world, and still we stand his servants here. From ash and oath, from blood and chain, from ancient hate and patient vow, we are not lost, we are not free, we are his will. We are devout, the devout of the lidless side. We are the devout of the lidless side. Let the faithless kneel or die. There is no truth but what we spy. as Morgul knows my steps. It hums my shame, it feeds my loss. The world is thin, each breath burns slow. I feel the ring where no hand lies, a weight that drags me ever low. No hunger ends, no thirst is filled, no rest remains, no will is mine. I am desire without release, a mouth that screams with no name. I scream but sound will not obey. My voice is thought, my thought is chain. I watch my mind obey commands I never gave. I cannot own. Took the ring, I felt it bloom. I thought I bent the fire to me. Now it devours name and face and leaves me here to watch. Curse the hand that offered truth, that fed my fear, that named its strength. The Lord of gifts, the poison crown, who measured souls in chain and length. I curse his name, he hears it still. My hatred feeds the chain I wear. Even hatred bends his way, even defiance serves. I beg for silence, I beg for end, I beg for less than pain. But even begging feeds the chain, and I remain the same. I am not king, I am not flesh. No living name remains. Each thought is born already dead, then torn apart and swept away. The ring takes all I dare to keep. It gnaws my past, it bleeds my will. I watch myself be broken down, aware and breaking still. I took the ring, it took my soul. No end, no mercy waits. I know the dark, I feel the dark, and still the dark is mine. This life I did not know, I did not dream what the ring would claim. This hell I cannot escape, it twists my soul to shame. My will undone, unending torment, a lifeless life, all because of you. I name you Deceiver. I've stood where crowns were forged in fear, where prayers curdled into screams. I learned the sound of mortal hope when it finally breaks at the seams. The world turns slowly under me, age after age a grinding wheel. Every vow decays to dust. Some take longer to kneel.
I did not bend them with my will. I showed them what they chose to see. I turned their pride into a chain
and let them bow before my gain. I am the eye that never closes. I am the will that does not fade through whispered truths and borrowed crowns. Every pact of fear is made. Kneel, little kings, a fleeting breath. Your strength was never truly free. You burn so bright, so fast, so proud, and all your light returns to me. Oh, Numenor, proud jewel of men, raised by the West, too pure, too tall. You begged for answers I could give, when gods responded not at all. I spoke of death as theft and lie, of chains imposed by jealous hands. You listened, hungry, wide-eyed, doomed, and built my altars from your lands.
You crowned yourselves with stolen hope. You bent the knee in desperate prayer when judgment surged from restless seas.
It answered truth and stripped you bare. I am the eye that never closes. I am the hunger under skin. Your fear of endings, love of rule. That is where I begin. Empires rot from whispered dreams, from promises they can't refuse. Not all were lost beneath the waves. Not all were cleansed by drowning seas. Some learned how to kneel and wait, how best to serve eternities. Blackened blood, unbroken pride, my shadow etched into their line. They outlived death by making it divine. They built my cities, spoke my law. They ruled through terror, oath and blade, while weaker men forgot my name. These faithful few remembered and stayed. I stand beyond the seat of kings, the force that turns their choice to fate. Every oath you thought was yours was mine before you spoke. 9 proud kings I dressed in glory, 9 bright flames I taught to burn. I fed their need to master time and watched them beg for my return. I crowned them lords of endless sight, unfading flesh, undying reign. Now hear them cry between the worlds, bound forever in my name.
No pulse, no breath, no mortal dawn, just echoes tethered to my call. They do not dream, they do not die.
They only serve, that is all. I am the eye that never closes. I am the voice they cannot flee through frost and fire, night and fear. The 9 still walk for me. Once they ruled with iron hands. Now they reign in dread and shade. Their crowns are screams, their thrones are graves, and every step obeys. Let heroes tire of holding truth, let ages drown in half-remembered lore. I only change the shape of words, and kingdoms open every door. A whispered doubt, a gilded lie. That is how freedom leaves.
I do not rule by flame or fear, I rule by trust misplaced.
And when the truth has lost its name, when lies are all that you can see, I am the great deceiver.